Welcome back to the Unveiled series, everyone. For all of you new here, the Unveiled series is a series where I analyze and retell epic moments of some of my favorite shows and interests. Today, we are back with Kengan Ashura Unveiled. Before officially beginning, we are at 373 subscribers currently, folks, and it's been a year of consistent drops. Please help us in our goal of reaching 400 subscribers before the year is out. Now, we move on. Since the Edo periods of Japan, gladiator arenas exist in certain areas. In these arenas, wealthy business owners and merchants hire gladiators to fight in unarmed combat, where winner takes all, and these are known as the Kengan matches. Yamashita Kazuo, an average Japanese salaryman for the Nogi group, witnesses a street fight in an alley between two mysterious fighters. One of the fighters, Tokita the Ashura Oma, is scouted out by the Nogi group, CEO Nogi Hideki. Due to defeating their previous fighter in the street brawl, Kazuo is roped into managing Oma, who joins these arenas only to devastate his opponents. His spectacular ability to crush his enemies catches the attention of big business owners, leading to his inclusion in the Kengan Annihilation tournament. Under the invitation of Mr. Nogi himself, this tournament is held by the biggest CEOs in Japan, and the winner gets the seat of Kengan Association Chairman, a fabled position which holds immense power and prestige for the rest of this video. However, we'll be reviewing the starting lineup of the Annihilation Tournament's fighters. In the world of Kengan Ashura, we have to think about these fighters aren't exaggerated, such like Baki or like Dragon Ball Z, or really any other anime where they have superpowers and they're king of the world or basically freaks. In Kengan Ashura, the fighters' abilities are more extreme exaggerations of freak mutations, so if anything, they're mutants. Kengan Ashura stands out to me as unique because it features a unique and fair take on actual fighting combat. Physics, yes, and I will admit, throughout the story, the characters have exaggerated abilities to soothe what's going on in the anime. That's just for dramatic purpose, but for the sake of this video, we will be talking about each one of these characters and their abilities that they bring to the Kengan Annihilation tournament. Starting first with our protagonist, Oma Tokita the Ashura. Standing at 6 feet exactly and weighing in at 187 pounds, Oma comes to the Annihilation tournament not only under the high-key blackmail of the Nogi Corporation, but also of his insane battle lust and thirst for revenge. Oma practices the Nico style, a rather interesting and mysterious martial art crafted by Oma's late master, Nico. It involves a large variety of techniques, from strengthening one's body upon the impact of blows to redirect the force at an enemy, or even parting attacks like water. But one thing that sets Oma apart is his unique ability, the advance. In extreme situations where his stamina is completely depleted, Oma is able to involuntarily perform autography, breaking down his housekeeping proteins and allowing him to basically allocate all of his body to essential life functions. This allows him to fight past his limits. In this state, Oma is capable of fighting with a more steady and smooth motion than when he was fatigued. This state enhances his speed and grants extreme rotational force in the ability of every one of Oma's moves, and it is characterized by Oma's body turning bright red and giving off a high heat aura. In this form, Oma nearly becomes a beast. Lijito, the superhuman, standing at 6'2" and weighing in at 225 pounds. Oma's second opponent in the anime, Lijito is a rather loud and large man, boasting comparable strength and durability to the other Kengan participants. Lijito's edge in combat is his technique, the literal razor's edge, which is a result of something he was born with. Specifically, Lijito was born with superhuman pinch grip strength, something that was inhumanly strong even when he was a child, like when he tore a coin in half as a kid. His pinch strength has only gotten stronger with age, as he can scale near vertical mountains with just his fingers to support him. Lijito can cut flesh and even stone, making him a dangerous competitor as he only needs one hit. Adam Dudley, the Emperor, standing at 6'3", weighing in at 236 pounds, a former NHL player from the Texas Snow League, who was able to deliver a long streak of knockouts on the ring, despite the extremely poor footing that you would think of, on a hockey rink. Adam then became one of the greatest street fighters in America. Originally, his employer planned to hire the fighter Punk Abbott, another legendary street fighter who had already fought in the Kengan matches before. But after witnessing Adam devastatingly destroy Punk in a street battle, he decisively chose to choose Adam instead. Like Watatsuki, Adam has an abnormal muscle makeup. He has massive erector spinae muscles, which allow him to swing a full power punch from even a grounded position. Cause you know, hockey logic. No hips or lower back into those punches. Haru, better known as Haruo, standing at a whopping 7 foot 9 inches and weighing in at 694 pounds. Haru, originally revered as the Himalayan mountain god, stands as possibly the largest Kengan fighter. While he was once befitting of his name, Haru has become Haruo, gaining a significant amount of weight and becoming locked into the world of video games, manga, and candy. But make no mistake, he has won an extremely high-stakes video game brawl match featuring multiple other top-class fighters. Even for his size, he is incredibly agile, as he can be seen flipping his 694-pound body several times through the air with insane speed and agility. Ryu Anaba, the mysterious assassin, scaling in at 5 foot exactly and weighing in at 137 pounds, Ryu Anaba is one of the lightest and smallest participants in this tournament, but make no mistake, his signature style, the Anaba style, is an art involved in silent killing, even using the hair of the human body. Passed down for generations, the hair is treated with a chemical agent to strengthen it, rendering it as hard as steel, but still as light as a whip. With this, Ryu Anaba can entrance and encircle his opponents in the hair and deliver devastating combos or submissions. Yoshinari Karo, the Giant of the Sea, scaling in at 6 foot 8 inches and weighing 364 pounds. The Giant of the Sea is specifically known for his inhuman balance from being at sea for over 40 years in his lifetime. He uses techniques honed from his years of fishing experience, aka whaling and, sinking battleships. His strong right jab is known as the harpoon, and he can strike from an enormous stance, almost defying human understanding, similar to Adam Dudley. He can also strike at an opponent's vitals, like their spine, and potentially kill or at least knock them out, another skill honed from years of literally bodying fish. Amaya Cosmo, the King of Strangers, coming in at a rather average 5 foot 6 inches and weighing 150 pounds. Amaya Cosmo is one of the youngest fighters to grace the Annihilation tournament. Amaya is nothing short of a genius, a jiu-jitsu fighter who has won his first Kengan match at only the ripe young age of 14 years old. As a fighter, he is a world-class grappler and ground fighter, and even his stand-up game, while weaker than his jiu-jitsu, is good enough for him to stand against elite strikers in the Kengan matches. Amaya's ultimate technique is the zone. Zone is a technique that hides in the 0.1 millisecond blind spot that an opponent has. Essentially, when someone goes for the kill and their mind focuses itself on the very image of the attack, Amaya uses this and closes the ground and administers inescapable chokeholds. Mutezi Robinson, the reverse import fighter, coming in at 6 foot 2 inches and weighing 281 pounds, an Anglican priest from Britain and last known practitioner of the eclectic martial art Baritsu, passed down in his family by one of the 10 Braves of Ito that once dominated the Kengan matches in the mid-1800s. Baritsu being is a strange yet real-life art even practiced by the legendary detective Sherlock Holmes. Mutemba Jazinga, the Genocider, scaling in at 6 foot 5 inches and weighing 269 pounds. Mutemba is one of the few fighters whose profession is in sports or assassination. Mutemba is an enormous and heavily tattooed mercenary from the Congo who's been involved with several civil wars in Africa. He works alone and unarmed, but has single-handedly crushed entire military organizations in the past, and is enough of a menace that even the Kure clan won't needlessly tangle with him. Mutemba is not a fighter. In all essence, he is a killer, and one who fights to win. At that, he will use the most practical and brutal techniques, eye gouging, crotch kicking, targeting wounds or vitals, or even running away to stall for time. Mutemba only cares about completing his mission at hand. Masaki Meguro, the Crying Man, coming in at 6 foot 4 inches and weighing 275 pounds, and more of a beast than a man, Masaki Meguro murdered his fellow disciples and father using his brutal judo. By all means, he is clinically insane. Meguro entered the Kengan Annihilation tournament through unseen means and brings, although insane, his incredible jiu-jitsu and judo techniques. Gaolan Sawat, coming in at 6 foot 1 inches and weighing 201 pounds, he is a champion boxer, an elite bodyguard known as the Thai God of War, the undefeated, unified heavyweight Boston champion of the world, and the personal bodyguard of King Rama IX. Scouted by the previous king of Thailand at the tender age of 5 for his talent in Muay Thai, he spent every day since honing himself to be the king's sword. In terms of boxing and a plain stand-up fight, he is considered the absolute master of both. He was completely and utterly unmatched in his home sport of Muay Thai, so he picked up boxing just to cover a gap in his skill set as a bodyguard and ended up the heavyweight champion of 4 major boxing leagues after just 3 years. He's the best boxer and Muay Thai fighter in the world by a country mile, and thus one of the favorites to win the Kengan Annihilation tournament right off the bat. The signature skill that he brings to battle is simply known as the Flash, where he administers a quick series of rapid blows that, while not incredibly powerful, render the battle all the way in Gaolan's favor. Takayuki Chiba, the Faceless Man, coming in at 5'9" and weighing 187 pounds, an actor, people from the criminal underworld, and a master of impersonation for a variety of purposes, whether it be fraud or other criminal acts and, fight scenes for movies. Though throughout study and rehearsal, he's able to perfectly imitate the moves of martial artists. Fighting Takayuki Chiba is like fighting Bruce Lee, John Jones, and Muhammad Ali all at once. And for good reference, let's throw in Lurdzilla if you haven't heard of incredibly skilled Asian fighters. Though his skills don't come at a cost or without fault. Kazuo Aguito, the Fang of Metsudo, coming in at 6'6" and weighing 282 pounds. He is the representative fighter for Dayapan Bank, the emperor of the Kengan matches and the 5th person to hold the title of the Fang of Metsudo. Aguito is considered to be the greatest fighter the Kengan matches has ever known and has a reputation akin to a war god, with a legendary and unprecedented 157-0 match record. He is obviously the favorite and most unavoided warrior to see in the Kengan Annihilation tournament. Saping Yoroisica, a really loud and passionate Burmese lethweight fighter, and Gaolang Onsawat's ever-persistent, self-proclaimed rival, much to the boxer's dismay. He brings to the tournament not only his fiery spirit, but his fighting style of Myanmar lethweight, also known as Burmese bare-knuckle boxing. Created in a small village in Thailand on the border of Myanmar, Burmese boxing focuses on strikes to the spinal cord and has strong overlap with Muay Thai, but bare knuckle. It is truly an art where the fighter pushes forward through all and perseveres. It's shown repeated bone fractures can strengthen bone. Through this is how lethweight unlocks superhuman capabilities. Multiple bone fractures, making one's bones several times harder than an average person's. Through vigorous training at a young age, lethweight fighters train using this process, and Saping Yoroisica has practiced lethweight since he was 5 years old. Jun Sekibayashi, nicknamed Hell's Angel, coming in at 6'5" and weighing 311 pounds. Sekibayashi is a gigantic man with unparalleled love for pro wrestling. A delinquent street fighting kid who grew up in poverty living with his grandmother, was once scouted at the age of 15. Sekibayashi brings no superhuman techniques or abilities to the Kengan tournament, though it should be noted that his defense is significantly different from the norm, since he doesn't try to block blows or dodge. He instead shifts his body so that the blows and strikes impact directly and do damage on the opponent themselves. Jun Sekibayashi truly believes that a pro wrestler's duty is to take all his opponent's blows, head on, win, or lose. Rin Nikaido, the Watchman, standing at 5'9" and weighing at 161 pounds. He is the young leader of the Taiwanese-Japanese mercenary group, the Heavenly Wolves, and the current master of the Heavenly Wolf Fist and Chinese Wushu. Rin is another fighter not on the original roster of the Kengan tournament, so not much is known about him at this time. Takeru Kyozan, the brawler of the sumo world, standing at 6'4" and weighing 351 pounds, and the younger brother of 2 Yokozuna sumo warriors. Kyozan is a notably arrogant individual, taking pride in his ancient sumo, or so that he claims, considering modern sumo to be a failure. Kyozan, much unlike real-life sumo wrestlers, is quite jacked, built more like a bodybuilder or powerlifter. His secret technique that sets him outside of the norm, he has added the sumo's strongest weapon to the mix, the legs. Kyozan has no qualm using the legs, honed to carry and repel a sumo warrior to eliminate his opponents. Dr. Hanafusa, the Dissector, standing at 5'9" and weighing 136 pounds, an extremely skilled surgeon who doubles as an assassin serving the Japanese government. He's participating in the tournament entirely to be rid of a specific fighter, but his presence as a pseudo ringside doctor will end up being life-saving for several of the major characters. Despite being a doctor, he is adept at Ling Shu Ching Na, a martial art that specializes at targeting pressure points and joints on the human body. Hanafusa is also capable of making body modifications to his physical form, like turning his femurs into blades, or even more sinister things. But for now, we will move on. Kineta Sukechi, the Giant Killer. Coming in at 5'7" and weighing 161 pounds. He is a polite and unassuming shogi player. He challenged another fighter for his position as a representative fighter for the tournament, defeated him, and took his spot. While weaker than most of the other fighters, what he lacks in physical prowess, Kineta compensates with his strategic mind. He is a practitioner of the Kushin style, a classical Japanese martial art specialized for battlefield combat, meaning it places heavy emphasis on taking the opponent down as quickly as possible, with the assumption that they're wearing armor and or using weapons. While seemingly unsuited against the unnamed and unarmed martial arts of the various other Kengan fighters, Kineta makes it work with his incredible ability to read his opponent, called foresight. He is capable and easily compensates for his light frame and overall size with his strategic mind. Rei Mikitsuchi, the Lightning God. Standing at 5'11" and weighing 169 pounds, and the inheritor of the Raishin style, an infamous art said to avoid the hands of not only those in power. Rei had went through over 11 days of asceticism. During this, Rei essentially experienced ego death, shedding all his earthly bounds, any thought, any form, having anything that he holds dear to himself, departing from this world. Coming out of his shock, Rei's teacher tells him that it is not enough to be like lightning, that he must be the lightning. Mazumi Nez, aka Maki, standing at an astonishing 7'3" and weighing 245 pounds, Masumi is a literal giant, and from what we glean of his very scarce background, he entered the Kengan tournament to save Tochigi Destiny Land, the happiest place on earth. Wait, that's gotta be copyrighted. The former boss of Tokyo's third largest biker gang, yet a die-hard fan of Tochigi Destiny Land, no copyright intended, and an apparent top street fighter, Mazumi Nez is a massive man standing taller than nearly all other participants in the tournament. It's not quite brought forth what he brings to the tournament, but being able to squeeze into that costume, he's gotta have something crazy. Satsunakiri, the beautiful beast. Standing at 5'11" and weighing 165 pounds, Satsunakiri was conceived by his father for the sole purpose of providing him with healthy organs to cure his illness. His mother was a prostitute that birthed him for money and then started to abuse him physically and emotionally. Despite his appearance, Setsuna is a monster lurking in the darkness. He is the only known living practitioner of the Kohei, or Fox Shadow style, a lost branch of classical jujitsu. Due to his master's untimely death, hint hint, there are only two techniques. The first is blink, where the user moves quickly enough to seemingly disappear from sight, and the second is Rakshasa's palm, a twisting palm strike capable of twisting organs and limbs. Also fun to note, Setsuna has a literal man boner for Oma Tokita due to an epic beating he received in their younger years. While Setsuna is generally polite outside of fighting, he's also very much willing to throw away his life and the lives of others for attaining salvation at the hands of Oma. And for him, salvation means seeing the true Ashura within Oma and dying. Niha Okuba, the ultimate fighter, standing at 6'5" and weighing 256 pounds, the heavyweight champion of the mixed martial arts promotional fight, Ultimate Fight, where he reigns undefeated as 26-0. Before he began his MMA career, Niha was a national wrestling champion and a member of the national boxing team. Okubo stands out as being one of the most normal fighters, so to speak, featured in the series. He lacks any superhuman abilities, martial arts styles, modifications, or techniques specifically to name. He is just an MMA heavyweight champion with a great physical build and 2 decades of experience. Okubo is a badass because he is the peak of a normal martial artist. Though he may lack anything flashy or special, he is so good at the normal aspects of fighting, he's a top tier fighter. His fundamentals put him on a level as high as some of the tournament's top contenders such as the famed Yohai Bondo, the Bloody Tusk, standing at 6'7" and weighing 324 pounds. In his youth, Bondo was a medical student, specializing in neuroscience. He eventually shook the nation of Japan 30 years ago by raiding Yakuza hideouts, after killing 17 Yakuza members, 2 police officers, and injuring another 9 people. He willingly surrendered and was sentenced to death. 3 decades and 45 ministers of justice later, Bondo is miraculously still alive due to his rather unique constitution. His key ability, or I guess you could say trait, that makes him so hard to kill is that all his joints have a 140-degree angle of lateral movement, and he has complete control over it. For a reference standpoint, everything except the knee is usually able to bend 25 to 100 degrees on your normal human being. This joint disorder has allowed him to survive 45 total executions by hanging. Cesu Akoya, the executioner, standing at 6'3" and 251 pounds, the captain of the 44th riot squad in the Metropolitan Tokyo Police Department, #FuckCops. Akoya is a stoic and serious man with an unhealthy obsession with the elimination of evil, resulting in him carrying out an off-the-job, vigilante-style justice, brutally slaughtering and making a display of criminals, and if that wasn't enough, he doesn't simply just slaughter criminals. It has even gone so far that he directs his brand of justice to the relatives of those criminals as well. Once he is set to execute justice, he won't stop until he is unconscious. Most fighters see him as a bad example of this. Due to his determination, it's not based on winning as much as it is on inflicting the most severe beatdown and pain possible on someone before executing them. What makes Akoya deadly is his inhuman reaction speed of 0.075 seconds. The use of this, along with his martial arts of subduing, allows him to conjure up many a weapon, if you might even think about it as a sword and shield, and this makes him a very fearsome and dangerous competitor. Ryu Anaba, the taboo descendant, standing at 6'2" and weighing 207 pounds. He's considered a monster even amongst his own clan, both for his strength and his insatiable bloodlust. Child of the legendary Kure clan, a clan of selectively and elite-bred warrior assassins, Ryan is a truly terrifying fighter. His screen presence and even manga presence always comes with a chill of arrogance and terror. The Kure clan is a clan made up of usually friendly assassins outside of their job, except for Ryan, who even his own family can't stand. The Kure clan has an armada of different techniques and abilities, but perhaps the most fearsome of these abilities is their removal, also known as the release. It is the ability to consciously remove the brain's limits on an individual's muscular strength output. As such, while regular humans are naturally unable to access more than 30% of their body's muscular strength, except in times of extreme stress through adrenaline, the Kure clan has bred to access a greater amount of their latent muscular strength. That being said, the percent that they have access to varies from each individual. Ryu Anaba has a release percentage of 100%, making him one of the most dangerous members of even his own clan. Kinsai Karoki, the mysterious assassin. Wait, haven't we used that one? Standing at 6'1" and weighing 212 pounds. Not much is known about this middle-aged man. As a practitioner of karate, Kinsai Karoki brings nearly 40 years of combat experience to the Annihilation tournament. With a mysterious match record ratio, this is his first time appearing in the Kengan tournaments, and he is still favored as one of the winners. Julius Reinhold, the monster. Standing at 6'7" and weighing 463 pounds, Julius is truly a massive being trademarked by his name, the monster. Much like this name, Julius believes only in the strength of his muscles, shaming all other techniques like martial arts or hidden arts as nothing more than tricks for the weak. His strict diet and rigorous education in both medicine and psychology makes him the acme of German medicine. Wakatsubi Takeshi, the wild tiger, standing at 6'4" and weighing 426 pounds? Wakatsubi is a man with an extensive history in the Kengan world, and Wakatsubi was born with a rather unique mutation. Specifically, Wakatsubi's mass is double that of what a normal man is, and I'm not just talking about in weight. His muscle mass is literally that of freakish proportions, making him one of the very few specific combatants that is actually superhuman, so to speak. Wakatsubi's core technique is the literal blast core, where he tightens the muscles in his body and releases them in one swift blow of destruction. Wrapping up the fighters and winding down in this video, I'd just like to say if you have not seen the Kengan Ashura anime, please go watch it. There's 3 parts, technically 3 seasons on Netflix right now, and it's obviously gonna get more because there's an entire spin-off manga series called Kengan Omega, and there's several other manga series that also tie into the Kengan universe. But for time's sake, I'm gonna cut the video. I hope you guys have loved seeing the fighters that come in the lineup of the Kengan Annihilation tournament. Let me know down in the comments who do you think would actually win and who's your favorite fighter. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe.